Google Documents and how to move around in them and how to convert an existing file into a Google Doc. So the first thing you'll do is, if you're in Chrome, you can go to your apps and click on Google Drive, or if you're in your email, you can click on the Google Apps button at the top right of your screen and choose Drive from it. If you're in the new drive, you're going to see the button New. If you're still using the old drive, the button will say Create. So I'm in the new drive, I have the new button. If you click on the new button, if you have an existing file that you want to convert to a Google Doc, you'll click on File Upload, and it has to be a docx. Find the file that you want to upload and double click on it. It'll tell you it's uploading. It's going to show you a progress bar. And once it's done, if you click on the document, it'll open up as a read-only. You can say Open with Google Docs, and it'll convert it into a Google Doc document. And now you can do anything you would like you would a new Google document that you just created. To create a brand new Google document, we'll close out of this. You would go to New or Create if you're in the old one, Google Docs, and it's going to open up an untitled document for you. Now once you have the document, you can either rename it by clicking on the untitled document up here, or go to File and Rename. Either one of those will bring you this box. You would then type in the title and say OK. And that changes the name for you. The star means kind of like a favoriting. So if you put a star on your document and then you go to your Google Drive, you can't remember where you saved that document. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see the word starred. You'll click on it, and it's going to bring any document or folder that you've starred to the top of your page so that you can see them. And then you would just find it in the list. You could also do a search for it. And here it is here, and then click on it and open it. The folder button will show you where that document currently is. So if you're working in it and you're not sure where you had saved it to, or if you want to save it somewhere new, you would just click on the folder button, choose the folder you want to save it in, and then say Move. Or if you don't have an existing folder that you want to put it in, you can create a new folder, name it, and then go ahead and store it in there. You can share the document. We click on the share over here. You can share this document with up to 200 people. 50 people can edit it at a time. To click on Advanced, you can determine who has access to it. It's by default private, only you can access. If you click on the Change button, you have Public on the Web, which means anyone on the internet can find and access it. You have Anyone with the Link, which means just those that have the link can access it. Then you have On, and we're under Google Apps for Education, so we're under our own domain. So this would be anybody on our domain can find and access it. The On People At with the link means anybody on our domain that had the link can access it. And again, then we have the private. So we'll leave it private for now. We can also, under private, invite other people to work on this document with us. So we can choose, and I'll choose this one here, it's another test account, a person that we want, a person or persons that we want to share it with. If you have groups that are made up in your contact list, you can then share it with the groups, so you don't have to type in individual names. Or if you have groups made up through Google, you can also share it with those groups that way. Now you have three different options when you first set it up to send to people. You have can edit, which means they have complete editing access. They can do anything to this document that you could. You have can comment, which means they can view it only and only comment on the document. Or can view, which they can't do anything else but view the document. You can also notify people by email that you're sharing this document with them. If you opt to not do that, they won't know that they have a document shared with them unless they happen to be in their Google Drive and see it there, or you tell them, I've shared a document with you and it's in your Google Drive. You can add a message to the notification they get to kind of explain the document and what you're expecting. You can send a copy to yourself of what they receive, and you can paste the item itself into the email. So we'll send a copy and we'll paste the item itself into the email. And we'll say send. And then done. So now that's going to send an email to the person that I've shared it with, as well as to myself. So if I come over here, here's the notice for this person that I shared it with, that they have an invitation to edit this document. It's going to give a snapshot of the item below, which this is a blank document, so they're just seeing blank. And then they can click on Training Doc for Video, and it'll open up for them. Now, where I asked it to send a copy to myself, if I go and look, it's going to say Training Doc for Video and show me the exact same thing that they saw in their email. Okay, because I've shared this document with somebody, each time we're in there and the other's in there editing too, or even looking at it, we're going to see who else is in there. So if I go back to this document in my email, I'll see that a test teacher is in there, and they can see that I'm in here. Now if we wanted to, we could chat back and forth by clicking on the chat button. We'll type in what we want to chat about. And then over on this other side, the chat will pop up. So then we can communicate back and forth. We can also set up notifications. So anytime anybody puts a comment in, do you want all of them emailed to you? Do you only want the ones that are specific to you so that they just involve you sent? Or do you want none sent? So we can choose all. And each person has those options. So this person could say, I just want to see the ones that apply to me. I'm going to close the chat boxes. You can also see where the person that you've shared it with is currently editing. They're going to be assigned a color, and if you hover over that, their name is going to appear so you know who it is. So if you have many people that are editing, you'll be able to see their color, and it corresponds to the mark on the sheet, and hover over, and it'll give a name. You can see how it has the pink line under my photo here. So if I can type in here, I'm going to center that, table of contents and center. And then I'll make it bold and 24 font. Maybe I'll choose Comic Sans, and I'll make it blue. Okay. So now I've edited this as this person in this sheet. So if I come over here and instantly I see what they've edited. If I wanted to look at a revision history, I could go to File, See Revision History, and I can see what's happened. So I see that today at 10:08 a test teacher did something on this document, and it's going to be highlighted what was done. So I opened the document and created it at 10 o'clock this morning. If I wanted to restore it, I didn't like the edits they made and wanted to restore it, I can click on Restore this revision, and it'll bring it back to this copy and wipe out everything else that's done. So if while you're editing somebody makes a mistake or changes something, you can actually come into revision history and go back to the last revision that was correct and restore it from here. So we'll close the revision history. And each editor can see those, so if I go over to a test teacher, they can also see the revision history. Now I could insert a comment in here if I wanted to. I can go to Insert, Comment, or Comments, Comment. Wherever my insertion point is next to the text is where it's going to insert the comment. So if I go to Comment here, and then click on Comment, it's going to put it in here. So if I come over on mine, I'll see the comment that a person has put in. Do we really need a table of contents? I could say, yes, this will be a lengthy document, so this will help a lot to viewers. And then hit a reply. They'll see my reply, and it's like, okay, we'll resolve that comment, and that comment will hide. Now at any time if I wanted to open that back up, it stays here within the comments, and I can just say, let's reopen, or I could just have commented on it and it'll reopen. I think we need to discuss this more, and send a reply. And it will have reopened and come back here. Now if you wanted to add somebody directly to a comment or make sure they got it by email because they're not in there and you're not sure when they'll be in next, you can do so by typing @ and then their email address in the comment. So if I wanted to reply to this, I could say @testteacher bonnieeagle.org. Let's meet on Tuesday to discuss this in person. And now it says down here, your plus mention will add people to this discussion and send an email. If you add somebody that has not been put on here as an editor or viewer, and you put their email address in there, they won't be able to see this. They have to be on the shared list of this document. And then we'll say reply. All right, so we're going to go ahead and resolve this comment again. I can also email collaborators if I want to. If I come over to File, Email Collaborators, and if I had a list of collaborators, I've only got one, but if I had a list of them, I can then select if I want to send an email to everybody and it will be checked, or if I come in here and say none, I can then go in and select just the ones I did want to send it to. Type my message in. Again, I can send a copy to myself and paste the item itself into the email and then send it. I can also, over here, email this document as an attachment, and I can determine how I want to email. Do I want to email it as a PDF, a docx, an RTF, HTML, plain text, or an open document, or do I want to paste the item itself into the email? I would then address it to who I needed to send it to, put a message. Again, I can choose to send a copy to myself, and then I would send it in the format that I chose. So you don't have to download it and then send it to somebody as an attachment if you don't want to. You can share these documents with anybody. If you're in an organization, it doesn't have to be anybody within your organization. You can share it outside as long as your administrator has made that option available on the admin console of your Google Apps. So your menu bars and your toolbars, pretty much the same as you might find in Word. Your share option is here as well as over on the blue button. You can do new documents, spreadsheets, presentations, forms, and drawings right from here. You can open another document from here. You rename. You can make a copy. You can move to a folder. Your revision history. Check the language you want to see it as. You can download it as different types of documents. You can publish it to the web. Again, your email collaborators and attachments. And change your page setup. So if you want portrait or landscape, what your margin settings are, what paper size. You can change your page color if you wanted to. If you wanted to do this on a light blue background page. And say OK, so it'll change your page color. Under Edit, your Undo and Redo, your Cut, Copy, Paste, your Web Clipboard, Select All, and your Find and Replace. Under View, you have your print layout, what mode you're in, editing mode, suggesting mode, where your edits become suggestions, your viewing mode, where you can read or print the final document. Show the ruler or turn the ruler off, show the equation toolbar or turn that off, show spelling suggestions, compact controls, and full screen. Under Insert, you can put in an image, a hyperlink, an equation, a drawing, put in a table, and then you would determine how many columns, how many rows. Again, your comment, a footnote, any special characters, a horizontal line, page numbers, top or bottom of the page count, page break, your headers, your footers, a bookmark, or a table of contents. Under Format, you have your bold, italic, underline, strike through, superscript, subscript, your paragraph styles. So you have your increase and decrease and the different types of styles. Your aligning, left, center, right, justified. Your line spacing, list, if you want bulleted and numbered. Then you can clear your format. And then if you had pictures, you'd have your crop image, replace image. Under Tools, you have your spelling, research, define, your word count, translating, script editors if you know how to write scripts, preferences, and personal dictionary. Again, you can insert a table here. Any add-ons that you might want to get, you can click on Get Add-ons. These are scripts that people have created and let you use to enhance your Google Documents experience. Here's your Google Docs help, reporting an issue, report abuse, and your keyboard shortcuts. On your toolbar, you have your print button, your undo, redo, your format painter, your zoom size, your text style, your font type, and these are the choices that you have. Your font size, your bold, italic, underline, your text color, creating a hyperlink, inserting comments, your alignments, your line spacing, your bullets, your indents, clearing the formatting. Again, your editing, suggesting your viewing. And if you want to hide your menu bar, you can click on the chevron when it's pointing up, and pointing down will bring it back. So let's start by creating a table of contents that will be automated. So every time we add a particular heading, it would put itself in the table of contents. So to do that, we're going to go to Insert, Table of Contents. So it tells us add headings, format, paragraph styles, and they will appear in your table of contents. So the first thing we're going to put in here is adding an image. And we're going to create this as a heading number 1. And we're going to put it over to the left. So if I wanted to come up to here and click on the refresh button, there is my first table of contents item, adding an image. Now let's put this on a different page because we don't want it on the same page as a table of contents. So we're going to insert a page break. And now it's on a separate page. So under adding an image, we can start typing in our information for adding. One way to add an image into a Google document is to just drag and drop. So if you know where your picture is, you can pull it in and just drag and drop it into the document where you want it. Once the image has appeared, you can click on it and you can Move it to the size you need. You can also tell it, right now it's in line with text, you could have it wrap text. So now it's going to wrap the text around it. You can tell it to break the text. You can adjust the margins. That's the distance from the image and the text. We're going to go back to inline and move it down below the text. Notice once you click on the image, you then get cropping or resetting the image. You can also do line colors, line weight, and line dash. So I can put a yellow border around it. If I wanted to, I could make that a thick border, almost like a frame. Or I can make it a dash, so it's boxes, little dots, or the solid line again. Or if I want to go back to the original, I can just reset it. Another way of pulling in an image is insert image. And if you wanted to, you needed to put stuff on the image before you put it in the document, like you wanted some callouts or some arrows pointing to things. You could always pull it into drawing first. So if you go to insert drawing, pull the image into drawing. And now that the image is in there, you can resize it to the image that you need. So grab a corner, pull it in, make it smaller, move it to about right there. And now you can edit this. And then if we wanted to, we could add a text box. Can't see the color, so we can highlight the text that's in there. Now we can center that. We could make it a different font if we wanted to. Different size. Maybe bold it. If I wanted to put any objects on here, I could draw shapes. I could create arrows, callouts, put an equation on there. From here, I can select a type of line. Do I want a line, an arrow, an elbow connector, curve, polyline, scribble? We can also put some word art in if we wanted to. You can move that word art down here. And then I'm going to save and close. That's going to put that into the document where I had my insertion point. With the comments on it, and now I can resize further if I wanted to. Okay, we're going to come down and we're going to make another header. This is going to be heading 1 again, and this one is bookmarks. Alright, so bookmarks are shortcuts to specific places within a document, and they work like hyperlinks do. So when a person clicks on them, they take you to where it is that you want to be. So to create a bookmark, you're going to click where you want to place the bookmark, and we want to place it right here by bookmarks. So we can use anything as a bookmark if we want to, but we need to first create the bookmark. So we're going to click beside the word bookmarks, go to Insert, Bookmark. It's now created it for us. And now we're going to highlight the text that we want to link to that bookmark. So if we wanted to, we could come up here under Adding an Image and we can put in see how a bookmark works. Highlight bookmark, and then we're going to go to Insert, Link, and we're looking for a bookmark. And we'll look under Bookmarks, and there it is. And then we'll say Apply. So now if anybody clicks on that link, it's going to take them to Bookmark. So right now we have this private. If I were to open this up and share it, and we'll share it with anyone with a link and say save. And here's my link, so I'll copy it. And I'll go as a person who is not signed into Google. Put that link in. There you go. These, where we made the automated table of contents, also act like bookmarks and will take you to where you need to go. But now if we were to click on the bookmark that we just created, it's going to take us down to the bookmark. So actually let's put a little more space in there so you can see how that works. So let's insert a page break. There we go. Now we'll come back over here to where I am as a non-editor. Now refresh my screen. Click on the word bookmark. It's going to take you down to the nearest bookmark, the one you selected. Okay, we're going to insert another page. And on this one we're going to put headers and footers. Let's make sure that we're using our heading. So to insert headers and footers, you're going to click on Insert, Header. Notice it brings you up to the top of the screen. So you can put whatever you want into the header. You can see how the headers now show up on every page. If you want a footer, you would go Insert. Let's click outside of that again. You can click anywhere and do Insert, Footer. And this is whatever's going to appear on the bottom of the page. You can start typing in what you need to type in. And it'll show on every page. So if you wanted to, you could come down here and insert the page number. And if you wanted to center that, it's also going to center all your text. Or if you wanted to make it right aligned, it's going to right align that also. And if you wanted to change the font size or anything, you would do that. So you can come over here, change it to a 12. Maybe you want to make it a different type of font. Right. So if we just wanted the page number under there and we took the text out, we could have the page number to the right, centered to the left. Kind of like I'm centered when I do them, but that's just a personal preference. And so now if we go down to the next page, we'll see that it started numbering the pages for page 1's table of contents. Okay, so there's your headers and footers. Now our next title, if we go down, is going to be margins. So if we scroll down to our next blank page, or just click in here and say Insert Page Break. And this will be margins. And if you get to put your header format on, just highlight it, come back up here, say Heading 1. So to do your margins, you would go to File, Page Setup, and then choose. So if at the top you only wanted a half, at the bottom you just want a half, and on the left you want a 7.5, and on the right we'll do a 7.5. Say OK. So see how it's moved everything up and out. Our next topic will be indents. And if we forgot, again, we can come up here, heading 1, and then talk about our indents. So you can change indentations at the paragraph level. To do it across several paragraphs, you're going to select the text that you want to adjust and then move the specific indent. So under indent, we're going to type a paragraph. Right, so we're going to select our text, and then we're going to choose the first line indent. And it's going to set each paragraph that way. So if we don't want a first line indent on the next paragraph, we'll move this back to leave it to just the 1. Now if we want a left indent, we'll grab the bottom, which is just the little triangle. We'll move it over, and that'll indent to the left. So if we want a right indent, we'll grab this arrow and move it in. So now you see how everything's going to break where that indent is. Okay, so our next topic, and we want to come back out again, will be tab stops. So make that a heading 1. Now to do our tab stops at any time, we can create them on the ruler up here. So you have a left tab stop, a center tab stop, and a right tab stop. To add a tab stop, just click anywhere in the ruler and select the tab stop. So if we want to select one here, we're going to say add left tab stop. So if we hit tab, it's going to take us to where that stop is. This is a left tab stop. So if we wanted to add a center one, we would click here and choose add a center tab stop. And we type, and you see how we're centered. And if we want to write one, we'll click over here, and this is a right tab stop. So those are our 3 tab stops. Now we want to check on our table of contents, so if we scroll up to the top, we'll see we only have 2 here, so at any time we want to update the table of contents, we'll click on the refresh button to update, and here's all the other ones that we've added. Isn't it nice to have an automated table of contents that we can use? Right. Once you create a document, if you want to, you can actually make it a template that other people can use. There used to be an easier way to add templates to the template gallery. Now it's a couple more steps. So if we take this document and we decide we really like this document and we want to add it to the template gallery for other people to use, we'll go to File, New, From Template. It's going to pull up the template gallery. We're going to choose Submit a Template. We're going to choose it from our Google Docs. So we can choose a document presentation. You can't do spreadsheets yet in the new version of Drive, but you can do the documents, presentations, and forms. So we're going to choose the training document for the videos, and we're going to say select. Now we can enter a description. You can select a category if you want to, so we'll choose education. You can select another one and a language. Well, actually you have to select a category and a language, and then we're going to submit it. So anyone in our domain can view this template and any changes we make to it. So you notice over here it says about submitting. When you submit a template to the gallery, anyone within will be able to use it by creating a copy of their own. And we agree to let anyone within use the content and styles that you created. Right? And make sure you own the rights. Make sure you're not putting any copyrighted material in there. So after a template's submitted, any changes you make to it will show in the template gallery immediately. However, if somebody has already used that template, if they've selected it to use, and it's now in their Google Drive because they have made a copy of it, any changes you make will not impact that. It's only to those who select it new after the changes that you've made. So we're going to submit the template. All right, it takes a minute for it to show up, but then it will. You can search through public templates here, other templates. This is within our domain, and see what people have. Templates that I've used, that's any that you've used, and then you have your own templates, so any that you've submitted. So here it is. So you have two options. You can either edit the details and then edit the information you put in for the template. Then you can click here to edit the document. Of course, you can just edit the document at any time right within your Drive. You don't have to go to the template gallery to edit it. And then if we go back, we can remove it from the gallery. So if we decide we no longer want it, we can preview it, and anybody who comes in here would then be able to see the preview. So yes, this is something I want to use. So then they would click on Use this template, and what it would do would create a copy of it in their Google Drive for them to use. We're going to close this. Or you can also click on Use this template right from here without previewing. Now if you want people to see the document in the template gallery, you can either direct them to the template gallery and tell them the name of the document, or you can use the link for the template, link it in the in a website or in an email, and ask people to go to this template, click on it, and open it up. So if you're using this for a class, you'd be able to do that. So if they came over, and let's say this person right here, and you said go to this link and they clicked on it, it's then going to open it up for them, and then they can just click on Use this template. It will put it in their Google Drive for them to use a copy of it, not the original. The original stays however you've made it. And again, any changes you make to it will be automatic, but if anybody has already chosen the template before you made the changes, they're going to have the version that didn't have the latest changes in it. They'd have to go back in and pick it up again in order to get the changes. Okay, so if we want to delete this template because it's not something we want people to have out there, we're going to go in and say remove from gallery. Yes, remove the template from the gallery. And now it's gone. However, it still is in your Google Docs because it doesn't take it from there. It just takes it from the gallery. Okay, let's go down, and our next topic we're going to discuss would be the Format Painter. If you've never used the Format Painter, it's a pretty nice item. So we'll come over here and we'll change this to heading 1. Now the Format Painter will take any text that you formatted and put it onto other text that you'd like to have the same format. So if we come in here and we do sample text for formatting, and we decide that we want this to be red and bold, and we want to use the font Corsiva, and size 18. We want it underlined. Okay. And now we come down and we want this text formatted the same way. We would highlight this text, click on the Format Painter, and then highlight the text that we want to look the same way. And it'll copy the format over so you don't have to do it all again onto that text. Now if you double click on it, it'll stay on there so you can use it for several times. Okay, and then click off it once you're done using it. So one click lets you use it one time, double clicking lets you use it many times. Always remember to click off it if you've double clicked, otherwise you'll keep formatting the text the same way. Inserting a table. So if we come down and we're going to type in, I don't want this formatting on this one, so we'll take the format from here and apply it here. You notice it does not apply the heading style, it only applies the formatting. So the style we still have to come up here and grab. So you can come up to Table, Insert Table, choose a table of how many columns over and rows down that you want to insert. So we'll do a 4x4. So now you have it in here. You can also insert a table by going to Insert, Table, and choosing how many you want. Now once you have your table in there, you can then enter any information you want. So we could call our column header first name, last name, address, phone number. Oops. You can right click on the table and then you can insert rows above or below, another column if you want to. You can delete a row, delete a column, delete the table. You can click on table properties and change the border color. So maybe we want a blue border and we'd like 6 point. And in the cell background color, we'd like it to be white. And how do we want the alignment? Do we want it top, center, or bottom? And if we wanted to actually do our own dimensions, we can put in here the column width, the minimum row height, what the cell padding is, and the table alignment. Do we want it left, centered, or right? So we'll choose center. And then we'll say OK. So now this is what our table looks like, and this is the one cell that we chose, so it is white. If we wanted all of them to be white, come over to table properties while they're all selected. Actually, we'll choose a gray. And so it's not quite white, it's a little darker than white, so it's not so glaring. And we've modified our table. And then the last topic is equations. We're going to change the heading, and we'll insert a page break. So you can set up equations by using the equation toolbar. So if you wanted to do 3 divided by, of course you know your divided by is this symbol, or if you wanted the regular divided by symbol, you can click on New Equation and choose divided by 3 equals. You can do another new equation and you could choose square root of 67. Okay, so these are all your equation marks up here. So the buttons that you get to choose, you have general, operators, Greek letters, comparison and inclusion operators, operators with variables, and arrows. All of these will let you put the symbols in you need for your equations. Now again, we're going to go up, refresh our table of contents. So now we have them all in here. So an outside person who had this, and like I have it open in this document right here as an outside person. So as an outside person, I would see all the changes that you've made automatically. One last thing that I did want to mention was add-ons. If you go up here to add-ons, and you can choose get add-ons, you can search through different add-ons that people have created and see if there are any out there that you might be able to use with Google Docs to help you work a little more efficiently or do things that you can't normally do. So they do have Avery label merge, and you can see the ratings. 137 people, it's a 2.5 star rating. Thesaurus, the Easy Bib. So you can just look through them and see if there's any that you want to use. Merge by MailChimp is a pretty nice one. It lets you send an email directly from a Google Doc to email addresses that are stored in a Google Sheet. Another one that is pretty nice is your clip art. They have one called Open Clip Art, and that allows you to select from many different clip art that's available. So just browse through them, look, see if there's any that you think you might like, and try them out. If at any time you find one that you don't like, you can just go to add-ons, manage add-ons, and you want to remove it because it didn't do what you were thinking. Just click on manage and then remove. Or if there's an issue, you can report an issue. Well, have fun with Google Docs. Create away. Thank you for viewing.